All right, guys. So as usual, wait a minute for everybody to get in, situated. And then we're going to go over some final exam stuff. All right. So should be good. Let me see. Yeah. Um, okay. So this is the file. I guess as a general reminder, um, please sign into the chat. Just say something. So I have a copy of your name, time, date, stamp, all that. Also, test number 4 is up and it closes this Saturday at midnight. And test number 3, because there was some people who missed test number 3, I added an extra last chance. If you want to take it again, you are welcome to, but you do not have to if you already took one of the other ones and you're happy with it. And that closes, I think, Sunday. What's the date on that? Yeah, that closes Sunday at midnight with the homework. And then today we're going to be talking about final exam stuff. So we're going to go over this general document with some rules, regulations, that kind of thing. And then for the rest of the day and on Friday, we will be going over any kind of specific anythings that you need to discuss, that you want to know about. Okay, so the test will be timed, of course. You'll have 150 minutes. You are generally given 2 hours for a final exam. I will be giving you a little bit more than that, just to help alleviate pressure and that kind of thing. You will have 2 submissions per question, and you'll have 2 normal separate test attempts. And I will just take the higher of these 2 as your grade. You are welcome to, it's optional, but submit picture scans of your work for partial credit. These must be submitted soon after finishing. So you can't, send me pictures of your partial credit 2 days later, because then, it's very possible that you just took pictures of the test questions and then, submitted did all the work over the next 2 days or something. It just needs to be submitted soon after you finish. The test will be open 4:29 or 4:30, which is tonight, possibly tomorrow morning. And they will be open through next Tuesday, 5/5 at 11:59 p.m. So this is for those, there are 3 stars right there. Those stars mean unless you are a graduating senior, in which case it must be done by Sunday night, 5/3, because senior grades are due Monday morning. I highly suggest that you use Chrome or Firefox. They're both free to download on any platform, whether it's if you have a computer, if you have a Mac, if you have a phone, you can download it on any of those and it works just fine. I would suggest not using Safari. I have seen some issues with that and WebAssign. And you should pretty much never use Internet Explorer unless you have to, for a multitude of reasons that aren't even about this class. That's just some good life advice. It is a not very helpful browser. Bless their heart, they've tried for years. Don't do it. I also highly suggest taking the test during the middle of the day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., so you can jump into my office Discord and ask me questions. The link to my server is right there, and my Discord private ID is copied right there. So let me show you what that kind of looks like. So this is the desktop app. If you want to use the desktop app, you can use it. If you want to use the mobile app, you can use it. It actually looks very much like this. It's very similar in how it works and everything. Or you can just use, there's a browser version where if you open that link and you don't want to download it, you just want to do it in your web browser, that's fine too. But it takes 45 seconds to create a little username. You don't even have to authenticate it or anything. It just lets you start. And then that link will take you to this server. So I had created these text channels for people to ask questions. The nice thing about this is you can share pictures very easily. You just drag and drop them, and there you go. Same thing with other files. And there's also this down here, which is my voice channel. And I sit in my voice channel whenever I'm on the computer. And you are all set. So you can just pop in, ask me a question over voice, or you can text it to me. The other nice thing about this is you can actually do a screen share or a video share, as well as voice chat and text. So it's a very easy to use system. To me, it's easier. It's way easier than Zoom or anything else. It's much more intuitive. So yeah, would suggest going about that. So if you take it during the middle of the day, I'll be in there doing paperwork or whatever, and I can easily answer your questions. You do not have to take it during the day, but I'm offering myself as a resource, so I would suggest you use it. Also for these tests, you can remember that to save your work if you haven't submitted anything. So in the test version, there's a button that says save an answer instead of submit. What that does is it keeps that answer in that little box until you are until the test closes, basically, or until you come hit submit. But what that can do is you can put that answer in, and if you're not quite sure about it, you want to come back to it, at least you'll have something written there to look at. And if you can't come back to it, at the end, WebAssign will just take that answer as your submission. So that way you will have something there. Remember to do that if you don't want to submit answers every time. And last, I'm sorry? I can't hear it.
You scroll up by so I can see what I just said. On your computer screen.
You're breaking.
Can you hear me now?
That's better.
Can you scroll up? Yes.
So I'll be sending this file to y'all as well as putting it on your Bar resources page. I wanted to talk about it before. All right. So in red, stuff that pretty much definitely in the test. The other stuff obviously can be on the test, but this is the stuff that will definitely be there. And realistically, man, you're going to see something about that. But yeah, I would suggest reviewing these things and seeing if there's anything in particular that you want to know more about. And now I'm going to open the floor to any other questions or any particular items that you would like to go over. So Yeah. What do y'all got for me?
How much do quizzes count as a percentage of our final grade again?
So in the syllabus, it says 15%.
Okay.
So the quizzes earlier in the semester are pretty much just straight. I mean, they're already done. But for quiz grade since then, basically, if you were present, that's going to be your quiz grade. So, yeah, if you were here, then you got it. So yeah, and part of this about where to go. About maybe open tonight or tomorrow is I'm trying to do a compilation of everybody's grades. I wanted to have it up last night, but just everything. Everybody needs something all of a sudden. Showing you where you are at without the final, and trying to upload as much of it as I can, like previous test grades, even though, I mean, you should have access to those, but this way they're in a nicer format for you, I guess. And you will be able to see exactly where things have maybe not gone great for your grade or not. But yeah, so that will be coming in the next day or so, along with all of this. But like I said, lots of silliness going on. Okay. Other questions, comments, concerns, confusions?
No.
No? You're going to get 100%?
I'm not sure I'm gonna get a 100, but
Well, that's what this time is for. Is what of those things? Again, this is what we're going to do on Friday too. Is we're going to be going over whatever you guys want to see more of. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe type it in chat because I'm getting a lot of robot voice. So
I'm trying to. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can. I
think we go over it a lot of times.
Maybe I'm getting All right, try talking now.
No, law of sines
Law of sine.
is like two angles. That's
That's fine. Okay. So, law of sines is directly related with law of cosines. All right. And they're presented in kind of an unnecessarily mysterious way, but you have a triangle. I'll call this side, where's my, this is A, B, C, and the angles are defined to be opposite that side. So side C and angle C. Side B, angle B, side A, angle A. So law of sines is sine of A over A B So law of sines happens when you have basically the way you choose which one you're going to use, law of sines or law of cosines, is by looking at what you have. And there are, in any one of these equations, there are four variables. So we'll just take a version like sine A over A sine B over B. So there are four variables: angle A, side A, angle B, side B. In order to use law of sines, or really to use anything, you need to have three of them so that you can get the fourth one. Okay, so this is what that side angle side or side 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 or angle side angle, this is where all that comes from, because you need to know either angle A, or you need to know three of these things to get the fourth one. That's just how equations work. Is you can't have a single equation and more than one thing that you don't know. Otherwise, you can't solve for it. So in this case, you either need to have, let's say, A, B, and so angle A, angle B, and side A. This would be called angle, angle. Or you need to have, I don't know, side A, side B, and angle B, which would be side, side, angle. This is where like these little acronyms come from. It's because you have, this is why I don't really care too much about you guys memorizing all these things, because it's obvious once you look at the problem. So it's, I don't know, it's an unnecessary cute little thing that somebody added one day. But the point is, you need three of these to get the fourth one. So if you have an angle and its corresponding side. So if you have a side and angle, with same letter, use law of sines. This is because to do law of sines, you have to have either A and A, or B and B, or C and C. Law of cosines is the one you use when you don't have all of the same things. So law of cosines you use if you have all different letters. So whether this is you have a you could have side A, side B, and angle C, or something like that. That's when you use law of cosines. So figuring out when to apply it or when to use which one is the only thing that's terribly difficult about it. Otherwise, it's just basic solving. You take the three that you know, and you solve for the one that you don't. So, in case that's what you were meaning, let's look at an example real quick. So is that what you meant? You wanted to figure out like when or why to use it, or you wanted to like, I don't know, law of sines, like what about it?
I was just figuring it was part of the side A equals sine B equals sine C. That's a part I was confused about.
Is anybody else? Anyone else translate?
Okay.
I'm not trying to be mean. I just can't. Like,
Okay.
let's just look up. So let's take this first one. So we can use law of sines because we have side B and angle B. Okay. So you just plug in we have sine of 45 over 20 equals sine 105 over C. C equals 20 So sine of, this is the initial one that you start off with. You have angle B, side B. And then you have sine of 105. So $105, say 45, means this is 20, this is C, A. So C should equal 20 times sine of 105 over sine of 45. Just to make sure that that is correct. 20 sine 105. So I got 27.32, which is correct. So that takes care of this. So what is the next step? We have to figure out little a and side A. How can we figure one of those out? So we need to find side A and angle A. Which one of those should we figure out first? Come on. So we figured out that this is 27. We need to figure out either angle A or side A. So which one are you going to figure out, and how we're going to do it? I can't hear you.
Figure out the angle first.
Okay, figure out the angle first. What is the angle? I can't hear you.
It will be 35, right?
35? How do you get 35? So 180 minus 105 minus 45. How about just 30? So angle A is 30 degrees. because it's all the angles inside have to add 180. And 105, 45. Yeah. So that's angle A. And then to find side A, you just do the same thing. So this becomes sine of 30 over A. So A equals sine 30 over sine 45. Equals about 14.1. Okay. So the application isn't terribly intricate. It's all about figuring out, like, I guess solving the equation is not terribly difficult. It's just something over something equals something over something. And you just solve for the one that you don't know. So the issue or the difficult part is figuring out when to apply it and where. But in general, there's these two big relationships, which is the law of sines and the law of cosines. And this can be written a dozen different ways, but the one that makes most sense to me as far as remembering it is c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab times cosine of c. So there are actually a bunch of different versions of this depending on what you need. But what it does is it's the Pythagorean theorem. So one side squared equals the sum of the other two squares, and then minus this one times the cosine of this guy's angle. So what this does is it compares, if you have two lines, and this is side A and B, and some angle, is it tells you the length of the opposite side. So this is for when you either know all the sides, or you know two sides